We've spoken about the bottom three, the drop, who you think is going to go down. We're gonna talk top four now because one of your former clubs is high flying. Tell you, it's been an incredible season for Newcastle. Can they hold on?
Yeah, look, I think even you look at like last week's game against Arsenal, against you. Look, why are you smiling like that? Don't do that grinning thing, all right? It's a great result for you, lot. Look, I think it was an even balance, very even game, I thought. And I thought it could go either way. Both goalkeepers were outrageous, but that sheer chance in the second half with a header, you know, he puts that either left or right, Ramsdale, the back in the game. It's just one of those kind of games where it just didn't seem to drop for Newcastle. It wasn't a performance where you looked at it and went, oh, someone's going to catch them because they're starting to fall apart type thing. I fully expect them to come here today, have that confidence and go and win the game and definitely finish in the top four this year. I've been saying it for a while. They're too solid and they've got too much kind of... Through every layer of the pitch, they're very stable. And on top of that, their forward line has started to really light up. So it all bodes well, yeah. There's
no doubt about that. Now, we went out to the fans and we said, who do you think is going to make the top four? Because it's as tight to make top four as it is the battle to go down. So we've got actually a graph of who people think are going to actually make the top four. So let's throw that up there now because it's going to be... It's a nice mix. It's a close mix because you've obviously got Newcastle, United, Liverpool are up there as well. So it's, as you can see here, who's going to finish in the top four? 50% of people think it's going to be United, Manchester United and Newcastle. 41%, which is quite a lot, think Liverpool are going to come back in. They think they're going to sneak back in, and only 9% of people think it's going to be Manchester United and Liverpool. What's your thoughts on that? Because 6 wins in a row for Liverpool. They're absolutely flying. Momentum's with them. United don't seem to know whether they're coming or going.
That graph's okay, but that's the reason why we play the games. I listened to the conversation before about which of the teams are going to get relegated, and you looked at the graph that you put up, and we've all got an opinion on what the games are going to be. But I'll guarantee you that one of those teams will beat somebody that we don't expect, like and that's going to change. That's going to change everything. If I look at that, I think Manchester United. I would stick with them now, just based on the fact they've got the points and they've got the game in hand. I think there's more frailty at this stage of the season to Manchester United than Liverpool. I think if there was a couple more games, I might edge towards Liverpool. I think Jurgen Klopp's been really clever, ruled his team out. Manchester United will do it. And I thought it was fascinating this week when he said, we've changed a lot of things behind the scenes. We train differently. We're going to do different things. We've got to try and improve the way we play. So we've made a lot of changes internally recently, and now you're seeing them win, I think it's 6 games in a row. I've got no doubts whatsoever about Newcastle. I think Newcastle will come here today and they'll win the match, and I think they'll win it relatively comfortably. I pick up on the point that Jermaine made about the strikers. Isak's a goal every other game. Callum Wilson's got 8 in his last 8. Jacob Murphy's having his best season for Newcastle. They're so solid in midfield behind that. And even though Nick Pope's only kept 1 clean sheet in his last 15 matches, they've still got the best defence in the Premier League. So they don't make many changes. They're healthy. They're fine. Newcastle, I think, are the least concerning of any of the teams that we talk about.
Can bully either.
Not at all.
They're
not
full
at all.
Of power and size. I think United are going to be saved by the fact. I think they've got 3 home games out of the 4 left.
We'll actually have a look at the run-in now. So, yeah, do they have the easiest run-in to make? It's just the fact that when you look at those games, you think they are all very winnable.
They are, but like, you know, the away games, they're on some ridiculous run, aren't they, away from home where they can't get a result.
Very poor.
So they could go and get beat by, like, Bournemouth going to be in party mode. You know, they could go and get beat by, the other day against Chelsea, that game could have gone either way with Bournemouth. They had just as many chances. So there's no guarantees there, but I just think the fact they're at home in all those, out of those 3 games there,
Jay, I don't think if you look at that, there's a particularly difficult spell for any of them. I mean, the way they've been playing this season.
Is Mitrovic back for that last game?
Yeah, he comes back he comes back this week, doesn't he?
And that's the game that he got, obviously. So that might be there might be a bit of sauce on that one.
But and rumours are Rashford's out. We're getting updates that Rashford's actually.
Look, when I saw them at West Ham last Sunday, and we did the game on BT Sport, Jermaine and I were together. You would have had concerns, wouldn't you? But if you were basing Manchester United's future on that performance, you would be concerned. They get Varane back this weekend. There's no Rashford. I'm not necessarily sure that they're dominated in midfield like they were. Casemiro, to me, just looks like he's gone
the other way a bit,
20% from where he was when he came. Eriksen doesn't look like he's going to get through 90 minutes. I'm not sure that he's all the way back yet. Bruno Fernandes has stopped scoring. I think it's 1 goal in about 15 games that Bruno Fernandes has. So if there is no Rashford, who steps up and picks up the slack in terms of scoring goals. I don't know who you can actually rely on in there, but I still maintain the point. I think they'll stagger over the finish rather than go bursting through the tapes.
It's interesting you say that because we went out to socials and the tweets came flooding in. I enjoyed reading these ones, actually, weirdly enough. Sam's tweeted, if Rashford's out for the rest of the season, we will bottle top 4. Crying emoji. Josh Denzel, Twitter. Jackie, the Newcastle fan, there's only one Bruno deserving top 4. Elson, Liverpool fan, us thrashing Man United 7-0 and snatching the top 4 spot from them this season is something to talk about. I mean, imagine. Imagine.
It would be honestly like unreal. When you think about kind of like Liverpool's season and how far gone it was at one point, to think that they could just snatch it from their arch rivals, like whether it's like last game of the season or whatever, you wouldn't want to be a Man United fan. Put it that way.
Let's not forget though, Joe, they've done it before. If you remember 2 or 3 seasons back, they came off the pace with the ridiculously late run to get into the top 4. So there is experience in the manager's office and in the dressing room of being in exactly this situation and doing it.
Yeah, would Ten Hag be under pressure if they don't get top 4 from the position they were in? Does it negate all the gains he's made over there?
You see, I think this is a great question because I also throw it into an Arsenal fan and say, in reality, if you finish second in the Premier League with this team,
this is a
hang on a second. With a really good team,
I think it's different.
And you don't win anything, would you look back ultimately and say, we're a bit disappointed at the end? And I think you would be if you're Manchester United, because you've got to be in the Champions League. If they counter that with 2 trophies, though, and they found trophies hard to win, I think you have to put the positive spin on because they're one of those teams that they were never going to fix everything in 1 or 2 transfer windows. No. They are still desperately needing a number 9. They're still desperately needing somebody in central midfield that's different than what they have. And they possibly need 1, maybe 2 fullbacks and maybe another goalkeeper. That's a lot of work to do for a team that might be a top 4 side.
I'm gonna protect Arsenal unbelievably.
Go on.
But
what's going on there?
What Arteta's done at Arsenal, right, and what they're about to do for the next, in my mind, 2, 3, 4 years.
No. You can't say what you don't know what they're about to do.
I do.
We do.
That's the point.
No,
That's the
you
point.
don't.
What he's built.
No, you don't.
And the foundations he's got in place. You can see now.
So nobody else is going to get better. They're just going to pull away now.
Well, Man United have not got better for a
they
long,
are. If they buy Harry Kane in the summer.
We're talking about ifs and buts here.
I am talking about a manager that has created a culture at a football club, and I can see Arsenal playing exactly the same way next year, if not better. You're talking about signing better players to become better, and Man United have been doing that for years, and not necessarily massively improving or getting any closer to the title.
I don't think you can guarantee that Arsenal automatically just carry on this path. There could be some regression next season. We don't know. They might go into the transfer market and make changes, and they might not fit as well as the players that they've brought in do. It's not a given that you're going to go from second to first, or you're going to maintain it when you've got teams behind you, strong teams.
So what JJ's saying is, United haven't got better under Ten Hag.
No, I don't think they have. Like, you know what?
Well, they have, haven't they?
When I watch Manchester United, right, I don't watch them with any this is a Ten Hag type of way.
Yeah.
Like I don't know I still don't know what they're doing. Like what the players that he's bought out wide.
He could win 2 trophies this year.
And I get that, and that is what it is all about.
It has to be progress.
Essentially, don't get me wrong, it's all about winning trophies, and I get that. But at some point, when I'm looking at like the best teams in the league and the best teams that I've watched over a period of time, when Liverpool were like really doing it under Klopp, and obviously when Pep's doing what he's doing with, and even here with Newcastle and Eddie Howe.
I've missed you.
I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing. But with Man U, I think the reason why you have these massive drops off in form is because they're relying on good players rather than a system.
Okay. You're a football fan. I'm a football fan. You're a football fan. You've just had a different role in the game than we've had, right? Right. And you've got more money than we have by doing that. So, as an Arsenal fan, you called me out for the breakfast. As an Arsenal fan, then, right? Answer me this: would you sooner finish second in the Premier League and get no trophies, or would you sooner finish in the top 4 and get 2 trophies? What would you sooner do as a fan?
We live for a long time. Trust me, as Arsenal fans, getting in the top 4 and winning the trophy and not competing.
Yeah.
I now think that you need to spend consistent time in the Champions League to improve your squad.
I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask you that. Did I?
What he's saying though is that they've done it. Arteta won the FA Cup, right?
This year,
we've been
there.
No.
But the season we won the FA Cup for like the 3rd time in 4 years, we were still fuming.
Yeah, but it's what I'm saying. Manchester United this season are probably going to finish in the top 4, win the League Cup, and maybe win the FA Cup.
And that's a very productive season.
So would you say that's a better season than Arsenal?
Could they do it again next year, realistically?
Well, hang on. Would you say that's a better season than Arsenal?
No.
No. So 2 trophies in the top 4. So by finishing 2 places higher with no trophies.
The season's not over. We're not.
I mean, you lost me on that comment there. You definitely lost me on that. Winning 2 trophies and finishing top 4 is 100% better.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
Because all you've done is finish in the top 4.
Absolutely.
It
but
is.
It's when you think next year the likelihood
Correct.
of you doing it again
you
is
don't
so
know
small because you don't actually know.
In fairness, right, part of our job is to know. It is. Part of our job is to kind of foresee these things happening.
I'm just struggling a tad on this blind faith.
It's not blind
Arsenal
faith.
I
automatically.
don't think there's
It's
blind
not
faith. I think
blind
if you-
faith.
even when you speak to players and you speak to
right.
commentators, you speak to people who know football, you can understand the system they're
No.
playing it, and you can improve in the Champions League. Your recruitment could be better. You can buy better people in those positions.
Don't forget,
and
this,
therefore-
don't forget this season, though, Josh. They haven't played as many games as those other teams. They were eliminated in the FA Cup at the 3rd round stage by Manchester City. They played in the Europa League, but went, and that's a competition I think they should have gone deeper in. Sporting
No,
Lisbon.
we didn't want to go. I
Listen,
was at the
but
Emirates that day.
but you
We were
can't-
delighted to
but
be
you
out.
can't
There
be
were
saying-
cheers at full time.
Can't be saying we
there was
don't want to
groans
do
when
that.
it went to extra time. We didn't want to be in that competition.
Jermaine, come on,
And
as a-
that eventually
what I'm
killed
trying
us.
to-
You don't not want to win a trophy, do you? Surely.
No, obviously not. Look, the blind faith comment, though,
Yes.
it's not blind faith. What it is, it's an educated guess. If it's like me saying to you, do you think City are going to finish in the top 2 or 3 next year? You're going to go, well, based on what I've seen over a period of time, there's no
Yes.
way that this Manchester City team don't.
The key being a period of time.
Pardon?
The key being the phrase a period of time. Because
Yeah.
City have won the league.
Yeah,
They're going to
yeah.
win it 3 years in a row if they win it this year.
And I get what you're saying, but then when I look at this Arsenal team and I look through the like from back to front, they've got that mixture of youth experience and a style of football now
Yes.
that is going to keep them in the top 4, for my opinion, for as
Yes.
long as Arteta's there.
But the point was made was the comparison to them and Manchester United. I think you look at Manchester United this season under Eric Ten Hag, winning 1 trophy, maybe winning 2, getting into the top 4 with holes in the squad.
As a better year.
So if they go and get someone like Harry Kane next season, I think they are a team that you would expect to be in the top 4.
You just named about 8 players that they need to sign.
Yes, but they got into the top 4 without them, Jermaine, is the point. We're looking at Arsenal.
We could argue about this all day. We got to talk about
This is
the.
why-
this is why that works
we got to quickly get a prediction.
By
We've
the
got
way,
to quickly get a prediction for the day before we fight each other.
I cannot believe that you are back in Arsenal. I don't,
Well,
you must be going back there soon.
No,
Slide
I
the
just-
5 under the
no.
table.